Tracy here from Beyond Obedience, and it is time once again for Fake Fireside Chats with Tracy and Rue. This is our weekly Q&A answering all your dog training questions, as well as offering you up opinions you didn't even know you wanted. All right, this week on Fake Fireside Chats, we are talking about the all too familiar "he's friendly" problem that a lot of us dog owners have to face. You know the one that I'm talking about, when you're out on a walk and you're doing your thing and all of a sudden an off-leash dog comes running up at you and has an owner running behind it going, "It's okay, he's friendly." That's what we're going to be talking about today, with a little bit of a twist, because this situation is kind of going on in an agility center. I'm not necessarily going to divulge the names of the characters in this scenario to protect the innocent, because I get a little heated about this discussion and I want to make sure that nobody is going to be offended too much by it, okay? So we're protecting the names of the innocents in this particular case, but I'm gonna give you the characters of this story, all right, of this situation. The characters, the commenter, the person that sent in this question is a golden retriever owner, okay? So she's got her dog at intermediate agility. This is not beginner agility, this is intermediate agility, and she is sharing this class with another person that is an owner of 2 Rottweilers, okay? And it just so happens, a couple of things, the owner happens to be a veterinarian, and also the 2 Rottweilers that she has there are also sibling Rottweilers, okay? So those are the main players of this situation right now. Now, first and foremost, my first question is always, why on God's green earth does she have 2 Rottweilers in the same agility class? I'm just gonna put that out there. I would already have red flags about this situation, because if you're in agility, you should be focusing on your dog. If you have 2 dogs, there should be 2 handlers. There shouldn't be, why are you bringing 2 dogs? Why are you bringing 2 dogs? Anyway, that's my first red flag right there of this story. So essentially, the nuts and bolts of the story is that while the owner of the Rottweilers is out working one of her dogs, the golden retriever owner has their dog on the sideline in an X pen. And inevitably, every single class, one of the Rottweilers would break free from the owner and come running over to her dog in the X pen. And every single time she stands in front of the dog, she tells the dogs to go away. It's at this point that the Rottweiler owner says, "It's okay, she's friendly," and then comes back and just pulls the dog away. Now, this kept on happening, except for one of the days, the other Rottweiler, which happened to be in a crate, broke free of the crate and sort of did a stalking position and maintained like a stare at the golden retriever, at which point not only the owner but the instructor was like, "It's okay, we'll come get the dogs," and nothing happened, but there was a lot of commotion. And inevitably, it concerned the golden retriever owner, right? Thinking that this is getting out of hand, right? Now, her main question was simply that, do I think that perhaps this is escalating, or is the other dog now, because it broke out of a crate, is it upping the situation? The silent communication going on between the dogs. Her main question was, how do you deal with an owner that is clearly minimizing their dog's behavior by saying, "It's okay, they're friendly"? Now, she did get to a point where she finally talked to the facility owner about her concerns. The facility owner then said that she would in fact talk to the Rottweiler owner, because she, of all people, being a vet, should know how scary her dog's looks can be. That is what she said. Fast forward to the next week, same thing happens. There's no real correction. The dog breaks free, comes over to the golden retriever as per usual. But this time, at the end of the day, the Rottweiler owner makes a passive-aggressive comment, something to the extent of, "I have to keep you guys locked up because you're such big, scary dogs." So the golden retriever owner is obviously upset that this isn't being taken seriously. The Rottweiler owner is making sort of passive-aggressive remarks about it. And so that's kind of the gist of the question. Now, to her main question, to your main question, thank you very much, first of all. First and foremost, thank you very much for having the guts and the courage to actually send this question in. It's hard. to talk about these kind of things. First and foremost, this is a people problem more than it is a dog problem, because whenever you get this kind of passive aggressive remarks and comments back and forth, then we obviously know it's a people problem. Things are going to get emotional. People say silly things, and that part sucks. But to answer your dog related question, is there a possibility that this is getting amplified? The answer to that would be yes. I would say yes. Not being there, not being able to witness it, I would say that yes, it would 100% be amplified, because although dogs do not hold grudges, they don't hold grudges. Dogs can have a fight over a bone and then 20 minutes later be lying on a bed together if there was a conclusion to that fight. So if dogs have a disagreement, an argument over a bone, but they do determine that one dog absolutely should have that bone and this dog shouldn't, they can easily just get past that and move on with their life. Okay, so they don't hold grudges, but they do remember unfinished conversations. And unfortunately, these dogs have a lot of things going against them, right? The first and foremost thing is there are like frustrations happening because of barriers. Your dog is in an X pen, the other dog was in a crate, one dog is in the ring, sometimes they're on leashes, that kind of thing. So the moment they get off leash, then that frustration might build and then they'll come charging over to your dog. But the bottom line is that confinement of the dogs limits their ability to finish communication, right? Whatever the intent is of the Rottweilers, it doesn't matter. But whatever the intent is, that dog is coming over to have a conversation. You're stepping in between, which you should do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's not the right thing to do. But because the dogs keep doing the same behavior, they are not taking your authority very seriously, right? And they wouldn't. You don't have a relationship with them, right? So the bottom line is they keep coming at you, they keep coming at your dog because the conversation isn't finished. It's not finished, and it will amplify. This is similar to fence fighting dogs and whatnot that constantly talk, but they can't actually finish the conversation because there's a barrier between them, right? It will amp up the situation. Absolutely 100%, that is a thing that can be happening. Where you're having problems, the biggest problem here is, again, the people problem of the communication of what was described to the Rottweiler owner. It shouldn't have been brought to her attention that she should know better because her dogs are intimidating looking. It should have been brought to her attention that she needs to get her dogs under control because her dogs are being rude. They're being rude. They're being rude ass punks. Okay? It doesn't matter that they're Rottweilers. And that's the part that kind of burns my butt a little bit, right? It has nothing to do with their looks. I don't really care. I don't really care about their looks. All that I care about is that these are dogs that are not under control. And you sign a waiver basically saying that you are going to keep your dogs under control for the safety of all other dogs around you. It doesn't matter that they're Rottweilers. This was a Yorkie running at you. The same thing would hold true. Your dog is supposed to be under control. And if you can't do that, then you should be talking to your instructor to make sure that you're getting better engagement. How do I keep my dog focused on me and what we're doing? And then stuff should be put in place to make sure that everybody feels safe. That's the bottom line. Okay, so where this went wrong is actually the discussion with the Rottweiler owner basically saying you need to up your standards because your dogs are scary looking. I hate that. I'm also going to point out there, and this might not be a very nice or popular opinion, but I really would like people to understand the fact that just because this woman is a vet does not necessarily mean that she is an expert in canine behavior. And I say this with all due respect and all love and admiration for vets and anybody out there practicing veterinary medicine. It's said out of respect because if you think about all the things that veterinarians need to know to become a vet, it is astronomical. They not only need to know all about physiology and anatomy and muscles and the lymphatic system and all of those things, but they need to know it for different species. And then on top of that, they need to know all the pharmacology stuff, right? There's no pharmacist in the vet field. They're your pharmacist, right? So you think about all of the stuff that they need to know when they are learning to be a vet. Yes, they will take a basic canine behavior class, but it will be only within the realm of what they need to know to be able to perform medical procedures on the dogs. They're not going to extend that knowledge unless they take that as their specialty. They're only going to have basic canine behavior. And I would hazard to guess that The fact that this vet has 2 sibling Rottweilers would indicate to me that perhaps she has not continued her education in canine behavior, because you ask any dog trainer what they think about the concept of having sibling dogs. Never mind dog trainers, ask any good breeder about what they feel, about how they feel about giving up sibling dogs. Most good breeders will not give you sibling dogs, and there is good reason for that. It's really difficult for you to break that bond and have any sort of relevance with sibling dogs. So ask any good dog trainer. They'll tell you, hell no to sibling dogs. Hell no. Sibling dogs, no. As far as what should you do about the people, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the bottom line though. You are and can only be responsible for your own dog's behavior and your emotional response to the situation at hand. So I will point out that perhaps there is a possibility that you do have some responsibility in this, in the sense of your emotional response to the situation, the environment that you're in, is going to affect your dog's behavior. That is a thing, unfortunately, and you can't fake it. So even if you put on a brave face and you walk in there and you say, today is going to be the day I'm going to enjoy agility class, but the moment the first dog breaks free and you're like, dog, right? The moment that happens, all of that energy that you have, the tape that you're playing in your head, the stuff that says this isn't fair, right? And it's not fair. I'm not saying that it's fair. It's not fair. You're absolutely right. You have every reason to have this emotional response. It's not fair. You paid the same money as everyone else to be there, and you're doing your due diligence to make sure that your dog is confined and your dog is safe and your dog isn't harassing other dogs. You're doing that, and this isn't fair. This situation isn't fair. But that tape that you're playing in your head that's saying it's not fair, that frustration that's happening, that feeling bad for your dog because you're like, I don't think my dog's enjoying this anymore, and now I feel bad for my dog. All of that human emotion stuff is coming down the leash. It's coming to your dog. It's creating an environment around you that is probably adding to the situation. So you do have that, and you are responsible for that part, okay? And that's all you can be responsible for. You can't be responsible for the other dogs. You can't be responsible for the fact that she minimizes their behavior. You can't have that responsibility. That is not yours to bear, okay? So you can only be responsible for yourself. And all I can say is that, for me, I can only talk about for me personally, but for me personally at this point in time, I would probably go back to the either the instructor to say, hey, can we not do something about this? This is getting ridiculous. And then if that didn't work, I would, then go back to the owner and say, okay, this isn't working. And, I don't feel that it's safe. I've signed a waiver, but I don't think she's doing her part to make sure that this is safe. And then beyond that, I don't know. I guess if they're not going to address it, then you have to make sure that your dog and your dog's emotional well-being and your emotional well-being is intact. And if you're not doing that, if you're not happy with that, then you need to probably find another agility club. That's terrible. I'm sorry. That's probably not what you want to hear, but that is what I would suggest, right? This may not be the right fit for you and your dog. Okay, I hope that. Hey, everybody. It's Tracy here from Beyond Obedience, Fake Fireside Chats. I just received an update on the situation that we were just talking about in this Fake Fireside Chat, so I thought